Oh, yes,
How?
yes. Well, I taught for 47 years, elementary and then high school, and I wasn't old enough. Well, I mean, I didn't think I was old enough to retire, but I knew I couldn't keep up the late night hours that I did when I was teaching high school and moderating the yearbook. It was just it was a heavy load. Although I loved it, I loved the teaching, but I kept terrible hours. So our sisters in Montana talked to me about how wonderful it was, and the real impetus was when Kathleen, who lived in Great Falls, went back to St. Louis to study criminal justice, and convinced me that I could come to Montana and just try it out, live at her house, do what she did, and so I thought about it, and I came to Montana the year before I came to stay, and I went to all of the different missions that our sisters have, and so I prayed about it, and I thought, yes, this is something I would like to try. Well, I think we have a wonderful, wonderful community. The relationships that we have with each other, I think, are first and foremost our relationship with God. That I mean, I always felt I was married to God, not as a spinster. Tim was telling me a joke the other day about some man who was calling nuns spinsters, and anyhow. So, you know, God is love, and your relationship with God really helps you to realize the love that you need to bring out in other people. And so it's you know, it's your own relationship with God that you know, really propels you to love people. Some people are not so lovable. Some are very lovable. Others are not so lovable, and so, you know, the whole concept, I think, of community is what you, well, I guess you could do it alone, or there are many wonderful married people who reach out to others too. But they have the love of their family, so it's the community is our family. You know, and we're close to people, and especially since our community is dedicated to helping the poor. You know, that is a real challenge, and not just for people who are directly working with the poor, but just anybody. We're all poor to some degree, all of us. You know, whether we're financially poor or not doesn't really, you know, make any difference. But to reach out to other people and give them what God has given you. He's given you Himself, and some people can't find Him. You know, it's hard for people to find the Lord lots of times. So, you know, I think our community is, you know, really permits people to work where they think that they're most suited, where they feel they can help people the most. You know, and of course, you know, we have to get permission, which is right. We have to get permission from our team, our president, and our team, and. So the best thing I ever did was join the Dominicans.
Yay!
When I was 17.
That's great. Thank you, Judith. Will you do it again?
Yes. Oh, yes. Many times over I would. Yes. Many times over I would.
That St. Dominic or Jesus, if he was around,
Yeah.
would want us to address.
Well, you know, I don't know how to maybe put it into words, but I know that everybody should be able to have a life that is livable, that is decent, that people who have opportunities, you know, an opportunity to eat every day and to do something that is constructive for themselves and their families. And, you know, whatever is preventing that, which I think is greed, I think we've just gone amok. Our whole capitalistic system, you know, not to necessarily to change the system as they tried in you know, in Germany, and of course it brought forth a terrible leader, and you know, like during the Depression days, it's a wonder, if it's really a wonder that we didn't well, do something radical, you know, really radical when there were so many people in the middle class that were so poor, like many European countries did, with disastrous results. But even though Franklin Roosevelt bungled along, you know, but at least he was doing something. He was doing something and gave the people, you know, faith in their, you know, in our own system. But now, the capitalistic system is just greed. The corporations, many corporations have, you know, have more, and it doesn't dwindle down to the investors. No. Of course, the big scams and the scandals, you know, that we've recently seen, you know, prove that point.
That's right. And how do those things? How can we respond to those situations as a group of religious women?
Well, I think we have to make. You know, we have to make our voices heard. That's why, you know, I think when when religious groups combine, you know, whoever and wherever they are, to try to enable the powers that be to see what is wrong. And, you know, sometimes I think, well, nothing will ever happen unless we get out there and demonstrate. You know, that's how the blacks got their rights. And that's really what brought about our withdrawal from the Vietnam War, was the massive demonstrations. And, of course, you know, we're fighting against the moneyed elite right now, and the powers that be, the corporations, are running everything, everything.
So for you, the just word has a lot to do with speaking the just word is.
Yes, that's what preaching the just word is. That's exactly right, yes, yes. So, you know, influencing Congress, although a lot is being done, you know, different organizations like Network and Bread for the World, I mean, they've made inroads, but, well, I guess we'll always have some poor, but I don't think, you know, it doesn't have to be to this extent. It doesn't have to be that, you know, that people have nothing, just literally nothing. And of course, the warmongering of the United States, people hate us. You know, when you read editorials after 9/11, some people don't even know why people hate us. They don't know what we're doing. You know, if you read a list of all the different countries that we have bombed in the last, well, maybe the last 30 years, we've bombed countries all over the world, and we've exploited them, you know, for their natural resources, for our own benefit. Not just ours, but the other industrialized countries. We're all guilty. But since we have more power, we're more guilty. We have more power than any other country.
That's right.
So we are more, the guilt is ours.
So what's the just word? What can we do?
Try to influence the powers that be. Of course, we have to change ourselves. I know. I mean, we have to try to be peaceful people in our own lives, and help. You know, by our own lives and our own actions, help others to see the value of that, the value of peace and the value of justice. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. You know, our Congress people, do they feel they're being just? Are they just swayed by our hierarchical structure in our country? It's hard to understand. It's very difficult to understand.
So I'm going to say, would you do it all again? Would you become a sister, a Dominican sister again?
Would I count? Oh, yes, I certainly would. That's the best thing I ever did, was enter the Dominican convent.
No, I'm not taking a picture.
Oh, she's just focusing.
No, I am.
You want a picture
Here goes
of my bag?
Judith.
Judith with her sleeping bag.
With my sleeping bag.
She's a real itinerant.
Yeah.
Gene, you're right, honestly.
Here she goes. Move.
On the move. Ready to go.
Help more people.
Hey!